Okay, so let us continue. So the study of the control property of some dispersive equation. So the first day and the second day we were interested in the control of the Korteweg-Doris equation, and now we will switch to other dispersive equation of the same family, namely the Benjamin-Ono equation, the Benjamin-Bona-Mahoney equation, and the Boussinesq system. And finally, depending on the time I should have, I will review briefly some control property for the Schrödinger equation. Okay, so let us start actually with the BBM equation. Control of BBM. So BBM is for Benjamin Bona Mahoney. And this equation is also a model for the propagation of water waves in a canal. It is actually as valid as the KdV to represent this kind of phenomenon. So you still have water waves like this in a canal, and you focus on a wave propagating to the right, and okay, you can use this kind of model. So y is a deflection from rest position. X is this variable, and t is the time. And so actually, from the modelization, you have actually this kind of thing. So this is for the model. So this is when deriving the model. But now when you look at the mathematical property, it's not the same actually, and we have very different properties at a mathematical level. So to be short, this equation is quite easy to investigate for the well-posedness. For the well-posedness, so you have a lot of results. I will just quote the last one. So in R, so you have a result by Bona and Tsetskov in 2009, which tells you that you have the global well-posedness in L2. And this result is in some sharp. If you go below L2, you don't have the Lipschitz continuity, the Lipschitz dependence with respect to the initial condition, I think. And on the torus, you have something quite similar, actually, which is due to Rumegu. In 2010, and you have actually the global well-posedness in L2 of the torus. Okay. So for the well-posedness, actually, it's quite simple because you can write this as some ODE. So you can write it in the following way. So where capital A denotes the operator and there is some sign. I will put here. Okay, so you have this thing. This thing is bounded. Of course, you have to put the boundary condition in your operator. So I mean, on the torus, you take periodic boundary condition. On some interval, you for instance, can take Dirichlet boundary condition. Okay, you incorporate in your operator. But this thing turns to be bounded. And actually, so you have some bounded operator applied to this thing. So for the linear theory, it's clear that you have solutions that actually are analytic in time, but it is also true when you put the nonlinear term. So you have something which is quite good. So the things works well. And for the numerics, it's also very good, actually. It's much better than for KDV. Okay. And so now what can be said about the control property? The control property are bad, very bad. And a first result was given by Sorin Miku in 2001. So Sorin Miku was interested in the boundary control of the linearized BBM equation. And so you write this equation without the nonlinear term to begin with. And, okay, for instance, and you can, so take 0 at 0, and you will control the value at, say, 1. And this is your control. And you start, as usual, from y0. And so he proves that so this system is approximatively controllable. Well, that's quite okay. But it is not null controllable. But not null controllable. So you have to be precise for the space. So you take H as usual in the L2 space. And for the state, you have to take it actually in H minus 1. It's not null controllable. Actually, he proves something stronger. He proves that it is not spectrally controllable. I mean that you cannot reach a finite combination of eigenfunction. You cannot do that. And so it's quite bad. And okay, the reason is the following. So if you look at the homogeneous system that is without control, you can of course compute the eigenvalues and the eigenvectors. And for the eigenvalue, so you obtain something, a sequence of eigenvalue with a limit point. And this is bad. So you can, of course, compute the eigenvalues, and you find this thing. Explicitly, where n is some algebraic integer. So what it means is that it tends to 0 when n tends to infinity. So you don't have the spectral gap. You don't have a gap, actually. And, okay, you have some accumulation point, some limit point in the spectrum. And this is very bad. And this is actually the problem with this equation. And so it means that actually if we have some control which is fixed, there is no hope to obtain something strong like the exact controllability of the exponential stabilization. And so, okay, to get some good result, actually, what you have to do is to let the control region moving and describe actually and visit all your domain. And so the idea actually comes back from the manipulation that people do for the numerics. As I say to you, the numerics for KDV is not good, it is good for BBM, so people actually mixed both. And okay, a way to have a good KDV term to appear is to work in a moving frame. And so let us do that. It's very simple. So you do a change of dependent variable like this. And when you look at the equation that is fulfilled by Z, you obtain, instead of the BBM equation, you will obtain a KdV BBM equation. It's very simple to see that Z fulfills the following equation. Okay, so when you do that, you recognize the BBM term, which is bad, but you have a good term, which is a KdV term. And actually, you will have a balance, and this term will balance this one. This is a good KdV term. Okay, and so for this equation with a control in a fixed region, we were able to prove the exact controllability in H1 and the stabilization in H1. But so if you go back to the original BBM equation, it means that if you let your control region move along the torus, for instance, so you have the torus, and you let your small control region, omega, move this way along the torus. When you do that, you get good result. So you have two results like this. I will just state the control result. So this is result by Bingyu, Zhang, and myself. And the result is as follows. So you take any function A, which is, say, infinity smooth, on the torus. A, of course, different from 0. This will be a function that represents the support of your control. You take a C, which is, of course, different from 0. C is the celerity in this thing. You take some S larger than 1, some R, which is strictly positive. And the result is that you have exact controllability in a large time. So there exists a time t, which is larger than 2 pi over the absolute value of c, such that, so for any initial and final state in Hs, so of course with some bound related to R, so I work on the torus. Then there exists a control input, L2 in time, with value in Hs minus 2, such that the solution of your BBM equation with the control on a moving region, so it is this one, starting so from y0, so reach y1 in time capital T. So it's a global exact controllability result in large time. The time actually depends on T, depends on C, but it may be very large. And okay, you have this result, but what is important is that you have the support of your control, which is moving, and actually it has to visit all the domain, all the torus. And you have also some stabilization results that I will not state. So all works well because we have some KdV term. And actually, thanks to this KdV term, we have a good unique continuation property. We have a good spectral gap. So all works well. So for the open question, actually, I will propose a unique continuation property for BBM, because even if it is not controllable, it will be interesting to see what sort of stability we have when we put some damping at fixed place. And actually, we have a partial result, I think, which is interesting. It is the following one. So actually, it is in the same paper. So we go back to BBN. And we do the following assumption. So I remind you that X is in the torus. So assume that. So the first thing, we assume that the initial state is in H1. So it will be, so the state will be in H1 for any time, actually. We assume also that the integral of the initial state is non-negative. And finally, we assume that the initial state is less than 3 in the L infinity norm. Then with these three assumptions, if you have the unique continuation property, so I mean, if the solution is 0 on omega times 0 capital T, then it is 0 everywhere. So you take omega some open subset. So if you have y which is 0 on omega times 0 capital T, then y is 0 everywhere. Or if you prefer, y naught is 0. Huh? And to prove that, actually, we didn't use Kalman estimate. We didn't use, actually, the Bourgain's method applied to prove the unique continuation property for KdV, because there was something that we are not able to face, the problem. And so the method is quite strange, actually. So we used the three invariant of this equation. And in some sense, we use asymptotic behavior of the equation, which is quite surprising. Huh? So we use the three invariant. I remind you the three invariant. You have the mass, the energy, and finally some quantity which is quite strange. So you have the cube plus 3 times the square. So these quantities are conserved. We use the fact that they are conserved. We use also the fact that the solution is analytic in time with value in H1. And we construct a sort of Lyapunov function, and with that we were able to obtain the result. So it's not a usual approach, but this is because this equation is not actually very usual, actually. And it should be said that this unique continuation property is not true when U naught is just assumed to be in L infinity. So this thing is false if you just assume that U naught is in L infinity. You just have to take U0 is minus 2 on your on omega, and 0 on the torus minus omega, or the converse. Okay, you take so something which is constant. So if you go back to the equation, of course this thing is 0 because your solution is stationary. But of course, you have also the derivative of y plus y squared over 2, and it is 0 because of that. So you need really to impose something probably the regularity. And what should be nice would be to obtain the same result without this assumption. The point that without this assumption, we could be able to obtain some stability result, but with this assumption, actually, we cannot. So open question. So I will give name to the assumption. So open question, it will be nice to have the same with only 1 and 3. So open question. Unique continuation property with only 1 and 3. It will be nice. Okay, this is for BBM. So let us now continue with another equation. So now let us have a look at the control of BO. So BO is the Benjamin-Ono equation. So it is a model actually for some interface between two fluids. So it's quite different model. So I will write it this way. So in this equation, so you recognize the second derivative of u, but you have this symbol h. H denotes the Hilbert transform. So, and to define this thing, you have to precise what is the domain of for x. So on the line, so you use integral, and so for x in R, so this is defined this way. So you use, okay, the Fourier representation, and so you have this thing. And here, so x, xi is a Fourier variable, which also belongs to R. And now if you work instead on the torus, you still define the Hilbert transform, but now with the Fourier variable k, which is in Z. So you use Fourier series, but you have the same definition. Okay, this is defined this way. So here, of course, we don't want to derive any result on the line because, as I said to you, for KdV, there was not very good result on the line. So we will focus on the torus. Another point is that we cannot consider a control problem on a bounded domain because of that, actually. It's difficult to define what is boundary value problem for this equation on a bounded domain. So we focus on the torus, and because it is convenient. So here we should only assume that x is on the torus. I remind you that for me it's just this thing. Okay. And as before, for KdV, we will introduce this operator, which is convenient to keep the mass invariant conserved. Okay. And finally, so I will introduce Sobolev space on the torus with 0 mean value. So I will denote it by 0. So just the function u in Hs such that the mean value is 0. it is T. That's for the notation. Okay. So the first result about the control of this equation is due to Felipe Linares and Jaime Ortega. And it is a result obtained in 2005. And it tells you that actually the linearized BO equation is controllable exactly in any positive time. So you have exact controllability and exponential stabilization, if you want, for the linearized Benjamin-Ono equation. So I mean, this is this equation that you drop the nonlinear term. And so for the control, you consider this model, and you just take this thing for the stabilization. So you have the result for any positive time, and actually, this is like for KdV equation, you have a spectral gap, actually, and you obtain the result for any small time because you can use Ingham lemma, and the thing are okay because the spectrum is okay. So for the proof, so you use Ingham lemma again. Okay. As for KdV, and all works well. Okay, so for the linearized equation, it's okay. So what about the non-linear BO? So the full BO. So the difficulty is that when you deal with the Cauchy problem for this equation, you cannot deal with it immediately by using the contraction principle in some Bourgain space, actually. So the well-posedness theory is quite complicated, so you have a lot of contribution, one by Tao, where he introduced the gauge transform, and maybe the final point was given by Molinet. Quite recently, I don't remember the year. And Rossley, so you add the global well-posedness in this space. So I mean in L2 with the mean value which is 0. Okay. Well, okay, so this is very complicated, and the problem is, okay, when we look at this problem, it was not clear that the gauge transform was compatible with a forcing term added to the equation like this. And so, a first result was obtained by Felipe Linares and myself. Quite recently, so this year. And so the idea was actually to put in the equation some damping, which is localized, in order actually to be able to deal with a nonlinear term without the gauge transform. That was the idea. And so, before stating the result, I will introduce the damping. So we introduce this operator. And we consider, so the full Benjamin-Ono equation with a damping which is localized So we still use this operator to localize the thing. G, I remind you that G is any function of class infinity. It may have a very small support. It's possible. So typically, if you represent your domain T like this, you could have, for G, something like that. So something with a very small support. So we will use this thing, but we will combine this thing with this derivation in this way. Okay, so we consider this equation. So we have actually a damping. And to see that we have a damping, we do formal computation first. But actually, we can justify completely this computation. So what you do, you just scale your equation by U, and you obtain this thing. Okay. So you have this identity, and this identity tells you that the energy is non-increasing because this thing, of course, will be less than this one. So first, you have some dissipation of the energy, but it is not enough. The second information that you can obtain from that is that, okay, this thing is bounded, and so it means that G of U is actually in H1/2. But G of U, I remind you that G of U is this thing, so you localize U, and you have as well this integral term, so it means that at least on omega, U will be in H1/2. So you have a gain of regularity locally in omega. So you have a smoothing effect in omega, which is a set where G is strictly positive. And the idea is that, okay, we have a smoothing effect somewhere, and by using a propagation of regularity, as Camille Laurent did for Schrödinger, or as we did for KdV, we will be able to extend this smoothing effect on the whole interval. So after some work, we obtain the following. We have this kind of estimate, actually. So U in L2 in time with value in H1 of T is less than some constant depending on time, and of U0 in L2. Okay, we have the smoothing effect that we need actually, and with this smoothing effect, okay, we were able actually to balance the term UUX, which was bad. And so now I can state the result. So we have actually some local exact controllability in H. First, I will talk about the stabilization, local stabilization, exponential stability in Hs for S between 1/2 and 2. So the result is the following. So you take any S in this interval. There exists some number delta such that for any initial state in Hs with this norm less than delta, the solution, the system, first we have to say that the system as a unique solution, and we can prove it without gauge transform, actually, immediately. So this system admits a unique solution in some reasonable class defined for every time. And we have also the good decay rate. So it is continuous in time with value in h S0 of t and L2 in time with value in h S plus 1/2 of t. So that's the first thing. And in addition, you have some constant C, lambda, such that you have a decay like this. Okay. So with this kind of damping, which is localized, we have a local exponential stability in Hs for S larger than 1/2. And we have, in some sense, classical solution in the sense that we don't need to use gauge transform. And for the controllability, actually, the idea is precisely to use this kind of damping to balance the nonlinear term. So we combine, in some sense, the damping with the control, and we can obtain a result this way. So you still take S between 1/2 and 2, and T, which is given, and maybe small. Then there exists some number delta, such that for any initial and final state in Hs, you can find some control H in some space. Of course, we have to assume that the initial state and the final state are small enough. Hs minus 1/2 of t, 1/2 of t. You take this control, then there is H such that the solution, the system, this is the system with the control. So ut plus h uxx plus ux equal g of h, and you start from u0. So this system has a unique solution in some class, and this solution arrives to u1 at time capital T. So you have a unique solution. So in the class of the function continuous in time with value in h S0 of t, and L2 in time with value in h S plus 1/2 of t. And it satisfies, of course, the control constraint that you wanted. And so actually the idea is to put the damping inside the control. So you search H in the form minus D, G, no, minus G, D, G of U of T, plus D 1/2 of K of T. And so that, if you replace in the equation, what you have is, so the Benjamin-Ono equation with your local damping, and we know that for this equation we have good well-posedness result. And you have, in addition to that, a control. The new control is K. This is the idea. So you have some damping. So actually the damping is used to balance, in some sense, the nonlinear terms. You can have a good theory with that, but it does not perturb too much the spectrum of your operator, and so you still have good control property. And actually this idea is interesting. We use it also for Boussinesq system. So it may be interesting to combine stabilization with control. And this is what I will explain now. So I should mention that there is a work in progress by Camille Laurent, Felipe Linares, and myself. And so the work actually focuses on the control and stabilization of BO with a more natural control. And so you look at the BO equation with a control without damping, so something like that. So this is for the controllability, and for the stabilization you consider so these kind of things. And so the aim is to obtain a control result in L2 that are global, and also to obtain stabilization in L2 at, with some global property. And it seems that it is okay, but it has to be checked. So this is something also interesting. And of course, for that, what you have first to do is to, in some sense, extend the existing well-posedness theory in the case where you put some control term, some additional term, a forcing term. So in general case, it is quite easy to do. For Schrödinger, it does not cause any trouble, but here, because of the gauge transform, it may be a concern. So let us consider now Boussinesq system. So this is 7, I think. So actually, we will not consider the original Boussinesq system that are not well posed, actually, but we will consider the family of Boussinesq system introduced by Bona, Chen, and So. So it is a family of system of two equations with parameters. We have 4 parameters, A, B, C, D. This is so the system. So you have 2 equations. You have 2 independent variables, 2 functions eta and w that you want to find. So this is a model for the propagation of wave, but in both directions, not only in one direction, as for KdV or BBM. So eta is still the deflection from the rest position for your fluid. You have your fluid in this canal. And so W is the velocity of the fluid at some place. And the place actually depends on the parameter ABCD. Okay? So it's a good model because it's a model for the propagation in both directions. So in some sense, it is much better than KdV to represent the things. So the parameters ABCD actually have to satisfy some condition. So you should have B, D non-negative, A plus B plus C plus D equals 1 over 3. And so two conditions, either A is non-positive and C is non-positive, or A equals C is strictly positive. So the well-posedness of this equation was investigated by Jerry-Bona, Chen, and so. And okay, so another thing which is important is that actually you can have some extension of this model to the dimension 2. I mean, you can replace x in R by x and y in R2. And this extension, so you have several people that propose this kind of thing. I think that Chen and So propose this kind of extension, and also David Lan, Jerry-Bona, and Thierry Collin. And so you have extension to the dimension 2, which is quite interesting. We have a good extension. So for this thing, there is first result by Sorin Mikou, Reimer Tega, myself, and Bing Zhang. So it's a result in 2009. And okay, what we did is that we incorporated some forcing term in one equation. The forcing term had a small support as usual. And okay, we were interested in the control property of this family. And so we obtained a quite complete picture of all the situation. So I mean for any acceptable set of value A, B, C, D in the linear case. So it was for the internal control problem. And with the control in one equation, for instance, the first equation. And so we have a picture of the control property. So we have a table that I will not write of the control property depending on the value of A, B, C, D. Well, I will not write the table because it's a large table, but roughly, when you have A different from 0, you have a KdV term, which is a good term, so you have a good control property. When B is different from 0, you have a bad term because you have a BBM term. So when both are present, okay, you have a balance between both. And so you imagine that actually you can have exact controllability in any positive time. For instance, when you have two KdV equations, I mean when B and D are 0, you can have exact controllability in large time. For instance, when A, B, C, D are 0, actually you have a system of, you have a wave equation, so actually. And finally, you can not have exact controllability when, for instance, B and D are different from 0 and A and C are 0. So you have all sorts of situations, actually. You can find all the possible situations. Okay, so it was some result for that. And more recently, we considered some instance of this family. So we focus on the KDV case. I mean, we drop the BBM term here and here. And we were interested in the boundary control problem with still one or two boundary controls. So it's difficult because it is a system, and the control is applied only in one equation in some sense. So it's a work in progress by Roberto Capistrano, Ademir Pazotto, and myself. So what we do is the following. So we simplify. So B is 0, D is 0, and by doing some scaling, we can assume that A and C are 1. So it's a system of KDV type. And so you have the following. And of course, I forget the dispersive term. So you have also this equation. Okay, so that's for the system that we consider. So it is some extension of KDV equation. Now we have two equations, two KDV equations in some sense. And okay, we need 6 boundary control. So we have, of course, to decide. So we have 6 boundary conditions that you can write this way. So you have to define eta at 0 and at capital L. You have to define eta x at 0. And you have also to define W at 0 at capital L. And finally, its derivative at capital L. Okay. Okay, so we investigate this kind of control for one or two control in all the possible cases. And I will not give all the results, but the more important are the following. So first situation, assume that H6 is different from 0. So this is the only control which is different from 0. So you control Wx at capital L. And for all the other functions, you take 0. I mean, all the other functions are 0 for I between 1 to 5. Okay, so only one control. So with that, we found that the set of critical lengths is the same as for KDV. So the set of critical lengths is exactly the same as for KDV. So I mean it is this set that we already defined. So KDV with the Neumann control. So I mean, actually, when you can control KDV, you can as well control a system of 2 KDV equations with only one control, so it's quite nice. You can do the same. And of course, this thing is quite better because it's a model for wave in the 2 directions. So we put that. So this result, of course, is for the linearized system. And now if you look at one Dirichlet boundary control, so you just assume that H4 is different from 0. So now you control W at capital L. you have something which is better than for KdV in the sense that the set of critical lengths is explicit. And it was not explicit for KdV. So it is given explicitly this way. Okay, so it means that if the length is critical, you don't have exact controllability of the linearized system. If it isn't, you have exact controllability. I didn't specify the space. Actually, there are negative Sobolev space if you put some control in L2. Okay, so we have quite good result for the linear model, and we are also investigating the controllability of the full system, and actually using the same strategy as for BO, I mean combining stabilization with control, we were able to deal some cases for the exact controllability, but it is still in progress actually. So investigation of the full Boussinesq system. This is in progress. And the idea is that we combine control with stabilization. Okay, so I think now we can have some pause, and after the pause, I will focus on the Schrödinger equation.